So, hello everyone. I'm here with my friend Fabian. He is a good friend of mine from childhood and beyond. More years that I would like to accept, right? But he has taken the time, even though he lives abroad in Europe, to talk about the Super Bowl this coming weekend. So, Fabian, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit for our public?
Yeah, thanks. First of all, you can call me Fabo. Like that's how my friends call me, and you are now my friends.
I am.
And yeah, just like Arturo mentioned, I'm living in abroad, and it's perplexing that even here, like the topic of today, it's quite well known. Just to give a bit of a history background of how I know Arturo, it all started back in phew, probably in the 1990s. So yeah, we're that old. And one of our best memories was a small fight that we had in a summer camp, where he did not respect the rules, by the way. But it's an inner joke.
I'm sorry. Your contract stated that we couldn't hit on face, but things went wild.
Yeah.
But that's a story for another day. Uh, all right, so like I said, thank you for taking the time. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl now. So, what do you think about Tom Brady and the Buccaneers making its way to the Super Bowl? Do you agree with all the hype that Tom Brady's getting as, I mean, the GOAT? He's already probably the GOAT, but the undeniable GOAT in his 10th Super Bowl? What do you think, man?
I think that this Super Bowl has like the hype that surrounds it in terms of storylines.
Mm,
I don't remember anything like this before because he has so many storylines and so many things that are a first from both sides, and that can also mark the legacy. So
yes.
cement Brady's legacy, or start building the foundation for another legacy, which is Patrick Mahomes and Chiefs. So I don't remember something like this before in previous Super Bowls. And this is something special. I think that the hype that surrounds this Super Bowl, even with the pandemic that's going on, really, really is justified.
Okay, I agree totally. I mean, it's one of those games that uh, they're too good to be true, right? So Tom Brady moves from the Patriots to Tampa Bay in the year that the Super Bowl is going to be in Tampa Bay, and then he makes it to the Super Bowl, and he's the first guy or the first team to make it to play the Super Bowl as a local team. I think that's a great achievement, right?
Yeah, somewhere I read that, I don't know if you remember last year, like in summer, that he was deciding where to go, and you had different destinations. So there was a talk about Brady going to the 49ers, going to Buccaneers. I think there were a couple of other teams involved in these discussions. I read, I don't know if it's true or not, that one of the things that got Brady to go to the Buccaneers was the part that Bruce Arians and the general manager told him, we're building a team. We have this great team going on, and be aware that you could be the first one to play a Super Bowl in your own stadium. Like that has never been achieved. So on top of the other things that we're gonna talk afterwards,
Mhm.
this will be a first. And that was something that of course caught the eye of Brady. And like you said, it's quite an achievement because in 1 year to go from one team, from one system to another one, and make the playoffs and beat who all the teams that they beat, um, the way that they did it, be in the position that they are, it's remarkable. I think, I really think that no one, some people expected it, but it's still a surprise based on the age and based on also how the Bucks were playing in the first half of the season. That it caught a lot of people by surprise, but at the same time, it's not as surprising if you think about it because it Brady's coming in a new system. So he needs to develop the chemistry with the players. He needs to understand the language. He needs to understand how the patterns are going through, and also put a bit of of his game into the system, and to convince, in this case, the head coach and the offensive coordinator that like the relationship and to trust, and okay, I need to make these audibles or not. So that all takes time, and you can see that in the second half of the season, the Bucks started going there.
Do you agree they were the best team from their division or their conference even? Because they lost all games against the Saints, but then on the good one they won. They have a worse record than the Saints. Do you still think that it was a good regular season for Tom Brady with the Bucks?
I think I think it was a great season in the sense that they got to the Super Bowl. Like
That's
how many? No, no, but think about it. How many teams are going 15-1, 13-3, 14-2, and then they lose in the second playoff game?
like
For what? Yeah. For what was that season? You know, like okay, they played very good throughout the season, but when it counted, now you have to be very lucky, and it's kind of like the movie of Any Given Sunday. Like any given Sunday, something can happen. And in this case, when you mentioned the example of the Bucks versus Saints, the Bucks got a break that at that point Breeze was not really uh, health
yes,
health was not doing very well, and also the
tired.
decisions by the coach. He was tired, yes. So it was not the same situation as in the season, but on the other hand, they got the videotape, the tape of two games that allowed them to outperform the Saints. Plus, the fact that Brady, like I said, was more now, let's say, more comfortable in the system and with the team.
Yes, yes. I think it proves that he's a great leader. The fact that Gronkowski came out from retirement to follow him wherever he went. He was like, basically, where are you playing, man? I'm going there. So he went to the Bucks. He was ready to go to the Titans, but he will follow Brady wherever he goes. And then Antonio Brown as well. He followed him to the Patriots and now back to the Bucks. So that speaks a lot of him, you know, that he's a good leader and players want to play for him, right?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. The leadership that Brady has commanded, I think it started in not in the first year with the Patriots because it was more the defensive side there, but as the years started counting on, maybe in the third or fourth, you started seeing the leader part of Brady there, and that has been like a very very clear skill that Brady has shown throughout his years, and that is really appreciated by his teammates, but also by the other team players and coaches. And I mean, his leadership part is unquestionable, and I'm not surprised that players want to go and, like you said, unretire just to play one more season with him.
Right. So, do you think now with this debate that Tom Brady was the better half of the equation of Belichick and Brady, or do you still think that Belichick was more the wizard there, and Brady just got a good team and got lucky and still in a good system with Bruce Arians? Do you think if he wins, he's, I mean, unmistakably the better part of that equation?
I think you can argue both ways, and that way we'll go with the political answer of saying that they complemented each other. Like, look, on one side, with Belichick,
You're saying
like
now before he wins the Super Bowl, right? If he wins the Super Bowl, then there is no political answer. It's he's the best.
he's the best player, that's for sure. That for me is unquestionable in terms of achievements.
Mhm.
But here the question is, who had the better or the bigger weight in creating the dynasty with Patriots? And it's hard for me to say as much as Brady is the GOAT, it's hard for me to put all of that weight on one player. Like he needs, you mentioned it, you need luck, but you need also the system. You need players around you. Uh, so I put the weight half and half. On one side, Belichick created a very, very good system that protected Brady in his first years, that relied on the defense, the schematics on the offense, on the defense side, the drafting of players. So that protected Brady at the beginning. Then Belichick as well developed not only the players, but developed also the defensive and the offensive coordinators and coaches,
But you
which were very good.
coaches, all those coaches that try and be a head coach somewhere else, they all fail, Almost.
Yeah, definitely.
Matt Patricia just got fired from Detroit, and he was supposed to be their Belichick, but nothing happened, right?
Yeah, and Josh McDaniels when he had the stint in Broncos, and you have several coaches that have tried, and not a lot have done it. But that is kind of like a point in favor of Belichick, that he develops them, and they learn. And of course, the other teams are interested because of their success at their coaching positions. But once they go there without this shadow of Bill, then you start realizing, actually they were not there. Like Bill had a lot of weight there, and that kind of helped Brady in the win part, in making all the achievements that he made. On the other hand, of course, Brady has shown time after time what he is about. And there were seasons that he didn't have for example, the wide receiver corps. That he didn't have enough players, and he was the one really elevating the game of players. So it's like I said, it's hard to say which had the bigger weight here. If you look at the 2020 season, I find it easy then to say, okay, look, that's evidence that it was Brady. But on the other hand, look what Belichick did with a very, very bad team in terms of the players that were left, because a lot of good players left in free agency, plus others opted out from the season. Brady leaves. The receiving corps is very, very bad. Also, in terms of assistance, it's not as before. So despite that, they were able to get a 7-9 team. When you're having a division with the Bills and the Dolphins, who's on the rise. So I think that if next year the Patriots don't have a good year, then you can start making the concise argument that it was Brady, that he had a bigger weight, but not this year yet. Not yet.
Not yet. So you have to wait and see what happens with the Patriots next year.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Bill Belichick with time and with more resources and with less players not wanting to play. I agree a little bit. But I was watching this documentary about Bill Belichick and Bill Parcells. It's on ESPN, 30 for 30. And it shows that all the time Bill Belichick was surrounded by somebody very, very special, In his early years, he was coaching under Bill Parcells, one of the greatest coaches. And then after he became the head coach, he had Tom Brady, right? So this is the first time that he's truly been on his own, right? That he's not the other half of a winning equation. He has to be the whole thing, right? He has to plan everything. He has to make a good team with not super players, from average to below. So I don't know. I agree with that next season we will see better if we can judge him like that.
But wasn't it Bill Belichick with the Browns in the last season that the Browns went to the playoffs, like in the '96?
Yeah,
Let me just
it was only
very fast.
And then he went back to play to coach for Bill Parcells. But this is really the first time that he's been alone. If you can say, if he's alone, right? Because it's a team sport. But it's not looking very well when the first season you don't have Brady. Brady makes it to the Super Bowl, and you don't even make it to the playoffs, for the first time in a long time, right?
But look at this. I'm just reading. It was in 1995. The Cleveland Browns finished with an 11-5 record under the head coach Bill Belichick, and won a playoff game for the first time since 1989. So
last week, right? Last 2 weeks. That was the first in a long time.
Since I think that it was since that time actually.
Yes, probably yes. Could be.
That was Bill Belichick, and then yeah, I think he went to the Jets under Bill Parcells or something like this. I don't really remember. And then he went to the Patriots when he when he after signing one day with the Jets, he said nope, nope, I'm
Uh,
not part of this.
it's a little bit weird all the time. But anyway, what do you think about the game itself? Like, what do you think about the performance of Tom Brady and the Bucks? How do you see playing out the defense and the offense and all the weapons? So maybe we should talk more about the team that the Bucks have on the offense, all the tools that Tom Brady has. I mean, Gronkowski, Evans, AB, Fournette. Who do you think is the best weapon to use against the Chiefs? Or do you see more the defense playing a bigger role on the game for the Bucks?
So for the Bucks, if I'm looking at it from the Bucks side, offensively, um, I think they're going to be without AB, but overall, I think that they are quite healthy going into the Super Bowl, which Kansas City is not. Um, Offensively, you have the wide receivers, Evans and Godwin, very good ones, complemented by some other the slot receiver, which I forgot his name, and some complementary players there. Fournette, uh, he has been playing better the last weeks, and of course you have Brady. So I think that they are quite set offensively, and they are quite powerful. They are someone who they're a team that may want to put a bit of a balance to counter the aggressive side of the Chiefs. But if they need to go a bit into the more shootout and aerial pass attack, they're able to do so. But I think that they will go more in the direction of let's try to keep it on the ground a bit. Let's try to get a bit of time possession, win that battle in order to counter and to limit the possessions that Mahomes can have. On the defensive side of the ball, they have a very strong front four, the Bucks. So Vita is coming back. You have JPP.
So
Um,
in the
you
center,
have, yeah, you have also the Devon White, the Lamont Debate. No, how is it called? The other linebacker for that. But, but you have a very strong core there. Plus the safeties and the cornerbacks are playing quite good, even if they are without Tom Winefield the second, I believe his name is. So they are quite well set. Uh, Now, can you really defend the Chiefs? And that's where the
question, right? So the Chiefs don't care if you score 7 times; they will score 8 times. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing with the Chiefs is that you have these two great um, actors in Mahomes and in Andy Reid, and Andy Reid is supported by the assistant head coach and also in defense with Steve Spagnuolo, who's doing a good job. So the design, the system that Andy Reid has put on top of the skills that Mahomes brings to the table, it's quite hard for that to defend against that. Now, the key thing is that Kansas City will be without three of their starting offensive linemen, including Eric Fisher, who was injured in the last game, and that can be a difference maker.
so yeah,
However,
we saw that Mahomes got a concussion, not the last game, the game before that.
yeah,
And without good protection, if they get to him, the Bucks defense can be very, very aggressive, right? They can go for him and they can try to hurt him early. And if he doesn't have enough protection, then that could be a key for the defense for the Bucks.
yeah, exactly. If they're able to get to him, because Mahomes is a special player. It's one in a lifetime, and that's part of the storyline of the Super Bowl. Like you're seeing on one side the GOAT, like the old school quarterback that hangs in the pocket, that it's not a threat running, so you don't have to game plan against the other quarterback running. In this case, Brady doesn't run at all. Against the new type of quarterback that it's this dual threat, and he's quite good at both.
Yes.
So it's really good, and this part of the injuries to the offensive line makes it even more. I think it makes it more a fair game, and it will be quite interesting to see how it develops. Now, also not to forget, the Chiefs have a very good defense that complements that explosive offense that they have.
All right, I agree. So let's talk now about the Chiefs, right? You've mentioned Mahomes already. He's obviously like a video game player, right? He can do everything. He can run. He can extend the plays. He can roll out. He can feint. He can throw. I mean, how do you stop a player like this, a video game player that can do anything? And especially with all those running backs, with Hill and Edwards-Helaire and all those guys. I mean, Williams, whoever they put in, whichever running back, he works. You know, he's good. He will make the run. He will run the trajectories. How do you stop a guy with so many options like Patrick Mahomes? How do you even try?
So, if I'm the Bucks defense coordinator, like I said, you need to complement your offense, and your offense needs to complement your defense. And in this case, you want the offense to be stable and to win the time of possession. And on the other hand, you want to limit the big plays from Kansas City. So you would like to keep in cover two the safeties back, so that you know that all these sprinters, they don't win past you. You want to keep the play in front of you, and also you want to make sure that the releases from the wide receivers and also from the tight end is not so clean. So you want to disrupt a bit of the timing, taking into account that their offensive line is not healthy and that you have very powerful and a very good defensive front. So if you're able to put everything in front of you, limit the big plays, to disrupt the timing, and to make it difficult for the receivers to kind of like make their
route
patterns, the routes,
right.
Maybe then you have a chance of making it difficult for Pat. Now, that's the theory. In practice, can they do that?
That's a big question, right? So, do you think the best strategy for the Bucks is to blitz and to attack, to put pressure on Mahomes, to limit his options on the long field?
I think you want to mix it up a bit. You want to blitz, but always in the same number of players. So, of course, you have the front four, okay, rush with them, but from time to time mix it up. So if you're gonna rush a corner or a linebacker, bring the defensive end from the other side back, so that you're always having the same people behind to kind of be disrupting, like I said, the roots of the wide receivers, but also in the lookout of Pat. Even if he would outrun them, but still to keep the potential threat at bay. That's something that has worked before, but let's see.
I mean, it's a hard task, no matter who you are, to try to defend against these Chiefs, right?
Yeah, but the Bucks have a very, very good defensive coordinator, a genius as well. They're in Todd Bowles, with 2 weeks and looking at the tape of the game in the season, could have a good plan there, a game plan.
Okay. What do you think about the Kansas City Chiefs receivers? I mean, you have Travis Kelce, which in my opinion is the best tight end in the league. You have all the other options, right? The running backs who can also receive. Who do you think is the best target for Patrick Mahomes? The one that the defense should be most worried about?
Without a question, you need to counter Travis Kelce. Like he's not only the security blanket for Mahomes, but he's, like you said, he's today, yeah, probably the best tight end that is there playing out. and you want to limit him. He destroyed the Bills, so you want to have someone there knocking him from his route, making it difficult for him, and that could disrupt Mahomes. Why? Because in a lot of third down, second and long, he's going to look for Travis. If he's not there, yeah, you have the other weapons, but it's harder for him. So don't make it easy for Mahomes. At least take one away, and I think that would be Travis.
I've been noticing that he doesn't target him so much, except when it's like third and something, or in the red zone. I mean, only on the key plays, he's saving him to be the guy, with safe hands and make the big play. So
exactly.
That's a very good strategy, I think.
But again, do you have the personnel to do that? That's also the key. Like, who has the defensive personnel to perform such a task? Because you need the number, the resources, but also the skills. Like, you can have the game plan, but if you don't have the players, it doesn't matter. And I think that Bucks is one of the few defenses that could have that.
Well, makes it more interesting. So, okay, now let's get more into speculation and opinions. How do you think the game's going to play out? How do you think, how do you see the game evolving?
It's hard.
Okay, I can give you my take first.
Okay.
I think that if the Chiefs get too confident at the beginning and start making a lot of big plays, then it's over, right? I think Brady has to keep Mahomes on the sidelines as much as he can, and then make every drive count with points, at least 3 points, because they're going to need them at the end. But if they don't have like that discipline, that coldness, that structure, at the end it's going to be too hard. So if I can give my pick, I'd say the Kansas City Chiefs is going to win by 7 points at least.
So what you said is true, but I will digress with one point. You cannot settle for 3. You really need to take this in a 7, a touchdown or nothing. Like that is the teachings from the Bills and from the Browns games. If you leave points on the field, you're gonna lose against Chiefs. The Chiefs have the best red zone offense. Like, they score like 90% of the times. So yeah, you're not gonna be putting them on kicking field goals. Your best bet is to stop them, yes, but your best bet is not to let them go to the end zone, to the red zone, and them settle for field goals, because they don't do that. They're too damn creative, and they will score on you.
Yes, of course. So, are you confident enough to give a result, or to see how it plays out?
So first, I would like to say there's a part of me that wants Brady to win, not the Bucks, but Brady, because of the things that can generate. So if Brady wins, he will be, just think about it, he will be the first quarterback to win in 3 different decades.
Yes.
A Super Bowl in 3 different decades.
I like the Patriots. I'm an anti-Patriot guy because of Belichick. But now,
yeah, but in this case, it would not be Patriots anymore.
I mean, I was waiting to see him on the playoffs. When he started against the Redskins, I was excited to see him play. But yeah, I agree. A part of me wants him to win. I want him to have more Super Bowls than any other franchise, right? He will be number 1. And more than any NFL teams, 10 Super Bowls. That's crazy. That's crazy. He's played 19 seasons and been on 10 Super Bowls. So they say that the NBA finals are, the LeBron Invitational. Now it's good. The Super Bowl. It's a Tom Brady Invitational. He's always going to be there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have some interesting facts here. So he's made 18% of appearances when taking into account all the Super Bowls, but since Brady has been in the league, it's 48%.
48.
Like you said, from 19 seasons, 10 he's there. Here's the list. Number of Super Bowl appearances: Patriots 11, Brady 10, Steelers 8, Cowboys 8. If you want to take it further, like take into account that this will be the 10th time in 19 years, so it will be like a 52%, 52.6%. It's higher than the field goal percentage that Michael Jordan had in his prime, which was 52%.
Okay,
Think about that craziness.
Yes. So, do you think now we can start talking about Tom Brady as the greatest athlete? You know, we've said Michael Jordan was number one. We've said, in football we have all this debate, this crazy debate. Soccer, I mean. Do you think that if Brady wins, he can now be, matched with Michael Jordan as the greatest to ever play sports, considering that the NFL is a tougher league? I mean, it's way harder to get to the Super Bowl and to win it than to make it to the NFL finals. I mean, to the NBA finals, or to win the World Cup or something like that. Do you think we can start putting Brady into that category as, selected few that can be in Mount Rushmore of sports?
I think that he's already in. I think he's already in the Mount Rushmore of sports, together with MJ. So MJ, Tom Brady, Leo Messi. No, that's a different thing.
We start. We better not start that.
But if he can overtake MJ, or if he can be considered as the first one, I think, for example, if I put the arguments pro MJ, is how he changed the sports of NBA. That Brady, despite everything that he has done, did not change the NFL in the way that he did not put the NFL on the map, and Michael Jordan did by himself put the NBA on the map to the world. So that has a big weight.
And I will add the international titles, right? Michael Jordan went to play for the Dream Team, and he won the gold medal several times.
Yeah, exactly.
Brady hasn't done that, right? He has not had.
No.
Is there a way for a football player to achieve international success like Michael Jordan?
No. In that sense, no. But on the other hand, Brady, if you take these numbers that I just mentioned before about the appearances in the title for 52% of the times, being the most, like, even outnumbering franchises, established ones, the most popular ones. When you look at that, I don't think that there's a player in any other sports that can get near to that. Yeah. Like, if you put those numbers to NBA, reference to NBA, I don't think that there's a player that has achieved that. Like Michael Jordan had, how many seasons did he play? And he did get to the finals a lot, and he won the majority of them. But is that percentage the same as Brady right now? It can be the same. But it's, other than that, I don't find someone else. And I think that Brady outweighs.
The most fascinating thing for me about Brady is that when he was still in the Patriots, he took a pay cut. I mean, he was already super rich, right? He was already a millionaire. He had won the Super Bowl, I think, 4 or 5 times. But then he said, I'm going to take a pay cut. I mean, I don't need to be the number one quarterback in the league in salary, but bring me some other good players, right? We have needs. We need linemen, we need receivers, we need defense, or whatever, right? So he took that sacrifice for the team. how, I mean, how real of a sacrifice it was, considering he was already a superstar and he was already rich and he was already winning a lot. But he's the only player, the only big player that I know that has done that for a team, right? Has
Yeah.
sacrificed personal money to benefit the organization.
Yeah, and you look at this way, like he was thinking also the long term for him because the athletes, they're looking at their contracts and they're saying, okay, I have a lot of, I'm not gonna give up my money. Uh, I'm putting too much effort on this, and I don't know what's coming afterwards. Blah blah blah.
That
So
happened
I'm not giving up.
to Jimmy Garoppolo, right? They offered him his spot when he was still in New England. The rumors are that Belichick went to kick out Tom Brady, and he
Yeah,
had Jimmy G there as a reserve. But then when they started negotiating his contract, Bill Belichick said, "Okay, take a pay cut, and we'll make a better team." And Jimmy G said, "Like, come on, this is my first contract. Really? You want me to take a pay cut?" So that's why he moved to San Francisco, to the 49ers.
yeah. At that point, knowing Jimmy G, knowing that there will be other teams willing to pay what he wanted. So why did he wanted to? Who want to reduce his check account, right? And Brady, on the other hand, he's looking at this in terms of like, yeah, I have a lot of money now.
Mhm.
I'm gonna still earn. I'm still gonna earn a lot.
Makes a lot of money, right?
And yeah,
He's
and if I if I reduce my paycheck, I surround myself with a good team and with good players. The possibility that I win more is bigger. Therefore, there afterwards I will still be playing and I will still be getting contracts, and not only in the NFL but also around it.
Mhm.
And that's something that is admirable because, like you said, it's not all the players do that, and sometimes they should.
Yes, I agree.
In the sense of if they really want the greatness of winning, um, and he did that, and I can tell you, I can assure you that if he had not done that, the number of games, the number of Super Bowl playoff appearances will have dropped,
Yes, I agree as well.
definitely.
That's a big part of the success with the Patriots because
Yeah,
in the last times that they went to a Super Bowl, they did not have the best. I mean, the most impressive team. They had balanced talent all across, but they didn't have many superstars. It was Gronk and Edelman and Brady, and that was it. But the rest of the team was more balanced. I mean, good players, disciplined players, and also the merit of Bill Belichick of finding all these problem star players and bringing them in and making them play according to the system and then winning. I mean, all of that is just unbelievable, right?
yeah, for sure. It's incredible all the things that have happened with the Patriots, with Bill Belichick, with Tom Brady. Now, one of the things is that in 2007, in the season of 2007, when they were undefeated, like I think that still is something that Brady has in his ego, in his mind, that cannot let go. Like losing against the Giants in that way,
I mean,
losing against Eli Manning twice as well. But that season in particular of 2007, like so close for greatness, for the greatest achievement in the NFL, only to be defeated like that. It must suck. It must suck.
I,
So
I'm afraid something like that's going to happen on the Super Bowl. He's going to be so close of this ultimate victory, uh,
mm,
being the first team winning the Super Bowl at home and everything, that he's going to fall short just a little bit, like on that season. I'm afraid that.
yeah, I mean, if he if he wins, he will like he lost against an against the Eli Manning there. But if he wins, he will be the only quarterback together with Peyton to win a Super Bowl with two different teams.
Different teams, yeah.
So that the Manning ghost is lurking there, against Brady, which, like you said, probably will be too much. He cannot fight a Manning.
But But I mean, if you look back, the only thing that prevented Tom Brady from winning all the other Super Bowls were the Manning brothers, right? There was always Peyton Manning or Eli Manning stopping him on the conference championships and on the Super Bowl.
You had Eli Manning twice, so he has 3 losses in Super Bowls,
Super
and
Bowl.
of course several in the playoffs, which that was Peyton Manning, and that is the biggest portion of defeats that Brady has in playoffs against Peyton Manning. But in Super Bowls, it's Eli Manning twice, and against
The Eagles.
remember, yes, with Foles. It's like, come on, like who would think that they are the quarterbacks that Brady lost against?
Yes. But again, the next year against the Falcons, they were losing, and then he came back with the greatest Super Bowl history.
And also against the Seahawks, that they were gonna lose if Pete Carroll doesn't decide to be to play it smart.
Yes.
And just hand it to Marshawn, and they win.
The worst call in Super Bowl history, right? The worst.
Exactly. So, but I can assure you that Pats fans, Brady, would like to trade these 2, Falcons and Seahawks, versus the 2 against the Giants.
Yes, especially the first one, right? The first one was incredible.
and me as a Cowboys fan, I would like to trade the one of the Eagles against whatever. And also the ones of the Giants, by the way. But it's very interesting. Coming back to the storyline, like I'm looking at my notes here, is like it's the first Super Bowl to have, for the first time, the battle between quarterbacks that each of them have won the Super Bowl MVP and the NFL season MVP.
Mm-hmm.
So, like we said, it's the GOAT versus GOAT to be. It's the second Super Bowl for Mahomes. If he wins, he's the youngest quarterback to win multiple before 25 years. And he would have had a third Super Bowl if it was not because of Brady.
Because Tom Brady, yeah.
Yes. And then it could be for Mahomes and the Chiefs the first back-to-back Super Bowl winners since Brady and the Pats.
He's everywhere, right? Yeah, I mean, you think, okay, he's done. He's not going to come back. He comes back every time. It's really hard to bet against Tom Brady because he's always there. I mean,
yeah, and the interesting fact is that it's not like Drew Brees, that you saw that he's losing the strength in his arm. Like he still has good, the accuracy is still there, the power is still there. Of course, not as before, but it's still there. He can carry for a couple of more years.
Yes.
And the team now, going forward, the Bucks, do they have the situation in terms of salary cap, in terms of the people there, the resources, to enable another Super Bowl run, considering also how the other teams in the conference will be? That's hard to see.
If they lose, to come back next season and try to do it all again, it's gonna be like a big emotional hit. But
yeah, but if I can come back now to the part of prediction,
okay,
I do think that the Chiefs will win.
The Chiefs will win,
despite all that we have said, and a part of me wanting Brady to win. I think that the Chiefs will win. Like last year, we saw a even better defensive side of the ball with San Francisco, and they had the Chiefs against the ropes, and somehow they were able to make one big play that allowed everything to start rolling again.
Yes, they have that.
So, I think that it will be too much for the Bucks.
I agree. So, in general, how do you see the league? I mean, we've heard a lot of rumors that quarterbacks are changing. We know that Trevor Lawrence is going to be the first pick, and he's going to probably Miami or New York, the Jets. Deshaun Watson wants to leave Houston. They fired many coaches. What do you see like for the next season? Big changes or big moves of players and coaches?
So one of the franchise that will have the biggest changes, of course, will be the Jags. So they have Urban Meyer, the new head coach there. They will bring the quarterback Trevor Lawrence, which I'm not really sold by the way. But they will bring him, and
I,
they have a lot of salary cap
I think
space.
he doesn't want to go to those teams. I think that's.
No, of course.
I mean, imagine you're the first pick, overall pick on the draft. Did he win the Heisman? I think he did, right? He won the Heisman.
No, it was Devonta Smith, I think, the wide receiver.
Well, he's the first pick, right? And you have to go to the worst team, right?
But that's the cool thing about the NFL. Like
For
part of
us, but not for him.
I know for him, but I mean he's saving a lot of tax being in Jacksonville instead of being in New York, for example, with the Jets.
Yes.
So it's not that bad. I would hate even more being in the Jets, seeing that it has been also another franchise that for many years has been in disarray. So I think the draft will bring maybe 4 or 5 quarterbacks, and out of those, I think that is a strong draft in terms of maybe 3 could be good ones. I don't know if elite, but at least good ones. We see now that with the changes, it would be very interesting off season because you have the salary cap restriction. A lot of teams. You have a lot of good quarterbacks on the move or free agents, and how is that gonna develop? Like, how is that gonna affect afterwards the draft? You saw Matthew Stafford going to the Rams. That makes Rams a very good team. And Detroit, how's it gonna look? I don't think they like Goff, even if the new GM of Detroit was before in Rams and he knows Jared, but I don't think they're too sold. So probably they're gonna select a quarterback as well and use Goff like a transition player. Then you have Deshaun Watson.
I mean, I want him to go to Denver. I want him to please go to Denver, please. We need him. We need a guy like that.
Like the situation of Deshaun is I think that you have not seen that before. Elite quarterback in his prime leaving, you don't see that quite often. So I think half of the teams have called Houston to see what's up, and based on Rams giving 2 first-round picks for Matthew Stafford, I could see that the Texans would probably receive 3 first-rounders plus a second and a third, or 3 first-rounders plus 2 star players. Yeah. And he wants Miami, he wants Jets, Broncos, not so much.
We need him.
I know.
What's going on with the Texans? I don't understand it, right? They left, they let DeAndre Hopkins go to the Cardinals. I mean, come on, he's the best, one of the best receivers, right? And now
that's bad management, yes.
Watson, you're not gonna get those players. What's next? JJ Watt or what?
Yeah, that's just bad management and having ego there also. It started with Bill O'Brien, another Bill Belichick disciple. But
disciple, you know.
It started all with Bill O'Brien getting also the GM duties. And he had already a bit of a conflict with DeAndre Hopkins. So once he had that power, it's like, okay, bye-bye. Like no one understood that. And the things that he got in return was
nothing.
Was crazy, was nothing. Plus, I don't know if you remember, he also gave a first rounder for a defensive tackle of Miami. That was good, but when you take into account the other things that he did, it's like you don't have any more first rounders. And the talent that you have in your team is not good enough. And Deshaun Watson was the one really making the things go for Texans, because he didn't really have enough quality players there. So right now it was a conflict with the owner, because supposedly the owner told Watson that he would be involved in the selection of the GM and in the head coach, but he was not involved, and this just made Watson say, "Okay, now that's it. I'm out." And for Houston, is like, just imagine.
I mean, those Texas teams are just bad management, right?
Yes,
Those
yes, yes, yes.
those
It
old
really
general
hits the
managers,
heart.
right? Uh,
I have white hair because of the Joneses, but okay.
yeah, that's just. I mean, there's no apology there. But yeah, there are a lot of changes. How do you think the league is gonna come back next year? Do you think the whole management with the pandemic and people not being in the stadiums at first and then slowly coming back? Uh, I mean, how do you see the league next season? What changes do you foresee or do you want to see? I don't know. What's your perspective?
I think that they will keep the stadiums at a low capacity. I think it will be unreasonable to think that it will go back to full stadiums even next season. If they want to target something, it might be the Super Bowl, but very controlled, because by then, hopefully, vaccination plus the efforts and the social distance and mask and all of that could enable that this pandemic is in a low curve. But before, I don't think that it will happen. So I think I will expect that we see more of this, of really low filled stadiums, which is okay, because that guarantees that the season is going. But that has obviously an effect on the income of the teams and the salary cap, which has an effect on the contracts, which has an effect also on.
I mean,
on
even on the game itself, because there was no preseason this season, right?
Mhm.
And you
Yeah.
could notice that the players were not at their best. The first, second, or third weeks, they were struggling a little bit. Some teams with injuries and not the best coordination, not knowing the system very well. So I hope this season they can make a better effort to make the preseason good and then have the quality of the NFL that we're used to since day one.
Yeah, definitely. Like, no preseason really, I think, that had a correlation with the number of injuries that we saw. Like, this was really a lot of injuries going on. And obviously, that was something to expect, that especially for the teams that had new head coaches or defensive coach, or sorry, position coaches, uh, they would struggle a bit because of the lack of preseason. Now, is this year going to have a preseason? Probably there's gonna be off season, not as usual, not as the years before. It's interesting because the what happened last year will be used by the Players Association in their argument of why less preseason games make sense, or why they want it out. They will say, look, we gave you a good product without any preseason games. Why do you want us to have preseason games? You are up for safety, so what's going to happen? And NFL, so that will be an interesting take.
Yes,
And
I, I
and also,
I used to hate the preseason, right? Because, I mean, the good players are not playing. They get up only a few snaps and this and that, right? The games are boring and whatever. I used to hate it. I mean, I didn't watch anything, just highlights or whatever. But now this season, I've noticed it's worth something. I mean, it's not the best show, it's not the best games, the most entertaining. But down the line, it makes a whole season as a product, like you mentioned, way better. So now I see the value, when you see something gone, then you appreciate it better.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
All right. So do you have any final thoughts, any final ideas you want to share with us?
I just, I really admire the NFL, like the product itself, the game, and all of that. I'm a huge, huge fan of it. And I think that this Super Bowl is a reflection of that. That the Super Bowl is a reflection of what the NFL structure works for. Because all the storylines that we have mentioned, the parity, the part of it's very hard to achieve what Tom Brady has achieved, and Mahomes on their side could be on that path of overstepping what the NFL wants in terms of parity. And at the same time, the NFL puts that into structure of being able to put the teams in a way and the resource allocation in a way to secure this type of matches. So it's just a testament of what the NFL is about.
It's
And
the
I'm pretty sure
in the
that we will have a great Super Bowl.
Yes, I think it's the best league in the world, best organization, best players, best systems, best everything. So the only thing I would mention about the NFL is that if they went international, like other competitions, like other franchises, that they would be without a doubt the best sports league in history, right? But now I think they're the best, better than the Champions League, better than the World Cup, better
Yeah,
than
yeah,
the NBA.
yeah, exactly. They the way that they manage it. First of all, it's the limited number of games that you have instead, as opposed to football, that you have every third day a game. Here you have a very limited amount of games, so it makes you want to really see it. If you miss one, oof.
It
Then
hurt.
the quality of the game is also quite good.
Yes.
The rules make sense, and they're always evolving for the better of the show. So the organization, the owners, and the NFL committee get together every year to discuss what to change, what to improve, what doesn't make sense, and it's always an evolving. We don't see that in football at all. Like
No.
we're all stuck in the in the twilight zone there. And in
Suck.
terms of international part, like they've already established that path with London and a bit with Mexico, and there were the strategy going forward to include other countries, Germany, perhaps China, having a team permanently located in London, for example. But there were some logistic things to take care about, which they wanted to discuss it, but obviously 1 year at a time to see if it makes sense, what to do, what not, and not just rush at it like sometimes the football football clubs do.
Yes.
It's
If you look at VAR, I mean, we've had replays on the NFL since forever, right?
yeah, exactly.
People having multiple views, multiple angles, taking decisions, informing the coaches, all that. And football is just, soccer is just slow to make changes. And then they make a change and it's not good, it's not well executed. And then there's pushback from fans and this and that, right? But
Like the VAR is still a joke if you think about it. Like you
yes,
see a lot of times that it's like like you see it clearly and the referee is pointing the contrary. You're like, what?
it's crazy for me. Like we all see the replay at home, even at the stadium. If you're at the stadium, you can look on your phone or it's on the big screen, whatever. But the referee who makes all the decision, no, he cannot see the TV, right? He cannot see the replay or the many angles, which we all see. But the guy over there, no. He has to look in split second and make a decision, a crucial decision, without all the help that we get. So I think it's really unfair for the refs in soccer, and it's great that they're taking a hint from the NFL to use replays and to use technology and to use more stats. There are special positions in the NFL, in American football. You have specialists like the kicker, the quarterback, the receiver, whatever, right? And we are lacking that in soccer, I think. Special positions, special roles. I don't know. I think it's slowly evolving into the right place, but it's years behind the NFL in
Yeah,
technology.
definitely.
Yeah.
La Volpe, Ricardo La Volpe, this
Okay.
head coach, mention something like that. Like if you want to take the soccer to the next level, you would need to have this part of developing specialist position and looking at the strategy, just like the NFL does.
Hmm.
And also another part of the NFL is the organization as a whole, the structure, how they are like a really well-oiled machine, and that secures money, as opposed, as you can see right now with the football teams, the leagues. Like the pandemic happened everywhere, but the NFL is surviving. Yeah, they're gonna have to adapt a bit their salary cap, but each team will still have like around 190 million.
Hmm. TV rights.
Exactly, and the football teams with Barcelona, for example, they're broke. They have to see what to do. They don't have the parity. It's non-existent in the leagues. You have the Barca, Real Madrid's, the Man United's that spend. The inflation of teams of players' salaries is crazy. Like,
Yes, you have all the oil rich people from the Middle East and the Chinese and the Russians and all these, oligarchs just getting their hands on football, on soccer. And the NFL, I think, is very well protected, to make it clear for the teams which sources of money they can go to. And there are good sources, right? There's sponsorships, it's TV rights, it's a lot of things, TV ads, whatever. Uh,
yeah,
they're kept self-contained, on their financials, and all the other sports just get an influx of money, and they make an unbalance the way.
yeah. The NFL as a product and the game itself should be kind of like a benchmark for others, definitely.
I agree. It's the best thing.
Yeah,
All right. So I think we have covered a lot, pretty much,
yeah,
a lot of subjects. Um, so I'm really excited. Hope we can talk maybe next week sometime to see how this all played out, how it ended.
after Super Bowl. Yeah, why not?
You can tell me which one was your favorite ad, or if you enjoyed the halftime show. I don't know who's going to play The Weeknd, right? The Weeknd's going
The
to.
weekend, yes.
Yeah. Do you remember all those good halftime shows with the rock bands and uh, all the MTV produced shows? Those were really good.
I mean, that's another thing of the NFL, that they saw this part of entertainment and putting the NFL halftime like a big show that a singers and musicians want to be there.
Yes.
And I'm not sure, but I read that they're not paid to be there.
What
So just imagine that.
privilege.
Like, yeah, it's a privilege. It's all the advertising, free advertisement for them as well, to millions and millions of people. So
There are
uh,
a lot of people who only watch the halftime show. They don't care about
exactly,
the game. They just want to see the ads and they want to see the singer, the band, the halftime show. It's okay. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, there's
yeah,
something for everyone, and I enjoy everything. I enjoy the music, and I enjoy the sport, and I enjoy the ads, and everything. I love the Super Bowl.
yeah. So let's talk next week there to see the aftermath of the Super Bowl.
Perfect, perfect. So thank you very much, and hope we can see each other soon, this way, next week.
Yeah, it would be great. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. Anytime.
See
Bye.
you. Ciao. Bye bye.